Hey everyone, Vegan Mark here. I've made a few videos about homeless people, as well as talked a little bit about my lifestyle of saving money and being very frugal all the time. And I want to use this video to express what I think is my anger at people who take money for granted, which is very easy to do, but it's something that's very prevalent in society, especially in the country where I live, Australia, where people are so rich. Now, I don't think that everybody is filthy rich. I just think that most people are fairly well off and use money in ways which betrays the fact that they are conceited about money and don't care enough about how important it actually is. I always think back to the days when I had very little money and I was always saving up, and money was very hard to get, and I'm always thankful that I have a house now and somewhere to live, but it wasn't always that way, and I think that money management is a very fickle and a very sensitive issue. I don't think that my parents are very good at managing money. They are good in some ways. My dad is very careful with his spending in some ways, but there is a lot of things about the way he manages money that really annoy me, so I'm just going to try and go through those and talk about my day as well, and give you an idea of how I spend my money these days and show you how important it is to me. So I was doing my Patreon account today, setting up my Patreon account, and the most important thing you have to realize when people donate to you is that the more people donate to you, the more valuable their contribution is. So you may be concentrating and focusing on people who give you just $1 a month, and then you concentrate a bit less on those who give you $5 a month and a bit less on those who give you $20 a month. Those people who give you $200 a month, they are the most important people in your life. The more money that people give to you, the more important these people are, and you should be treating them accordingly. It's not like like a graph that flattens out. It's actually a graph that goes up exponentially. So that's the power of capitalism, and that's why it's so often misused and abused, is because we can't think enough to believe that $200 is worth 200 times $1. So it's very important to work out the tiers for your donations, and it's very important to work out why $1 should be equivalent to $1 every time you see it. Every time you get $1, it should be equivalent to that amount. So, like when I was busking, some people would give me a lot of money and some people would give me very little. And I would say the same thing to people who gave me a lot or to people who gave me a little. But in reality, what I should have done is been much more generous and much more open, warm-hearted to those people who gave me a lot of money, because they're the really generous ones. Sure, they may be richer, but they've earned their money, and money should be regarded as a valuable object. Once we disregard the value of money, we disregard the importance of the medium of using money. So, today, this is what I did with my money. Okay, supposing I have an allowance of disability pension allowance from the government of about $950 a fortnight, which is what I get. Now, that means that I get approximately, I think it's $65, $70, something like that, every day, on average, to spend. So how much of that did I spend? How much of that did I save up? Now, eating out actually costs me a lot more than eating in, I find, and I've just become to get used to realizing that that's the case. So now that I know about the concept of calorific density, I also realize that eating healthy foods, fruits and vegetables in your own home is much more beneficial to people to lose weight than eating out all the time. But that doesn't mean that I always eat in. It's sometimes the case is that I feel it's almost necessary to eat out sometimes. And although it's good to limit the number of times you eat out, I think it's a great convenience and it can be an enjoyable thing to eat out sometimes. So from my point of view, I'm not entirely poor, and I allow myself to have that convenience of eating out, even though if I was extremely, extremely poor, I would be eating literally carrots every day, just to sustain myself and to make myself feel full. But that's not what I do because I have enough money to sustain myself by eating out occasionally. Or maybe I'd say even half the time eating out which is quite a luxury for most people. So my point is, today I spent $7 on a vegan wrap for lunch, which is my first meal of the day at 12 o'clock. I then went and bought a few fruits from Coles, which cost me about $2.50. I had a snack at about 2:30, which was also fruits. I bought a banana and mandarin, and I ate those for, I think it was $1.05. Then at about 3 o'clock, I had roasted vegetables for $12, which in hindsight was a bit of an overspend, and I probably won't go back and spend that much again at the same place too often, because those people are really stingy buggers, and I'm not going to spend that much on a plate of roasted vegetables. But my point is that we learn from these experiences that we have. We learn that money is valuable. We learn that we should not be spending exorbitant amounts on things that we don't need or that we could get for a cheaper amount elsewhere. For my groceries this evening, I bought I think it was about maybe $10 or $15 worth of food, which will last me for not only tomorrow, but maybe the next day as well, for a bit of the next day. So my spending at a supermarket was quite wise, and you know, I've saved up a lot of money in the last year or so, and I'm richer than I ever have been before, even though I've lost $4,000 on crypto, even though I've lost, how much have I lost in other places? On the stock market, I've lost probably about the same amount, and on Forex trading, I've lost a few $100s. So that's weighing up all the consequences of what I've been doing. And I think that being accountable for what we do is very, very important. I believe that if you give me $1,000, I'm going to spend that $1,000 as if it's the last $1,000 in my life. If I give $10 to a homeless person, I want him to use it in the best possible way, and to really, really value the importance of money. So I hope this video has taught you something. I hope that people realize that being rich is a privilege, and that we should be giving it to people who need it the most, that is, the poorest people. We should be using money to encourage people to become better people. And money is power. So if we use that power in the wisest possible way, we are really being wise people. And that, my friend, is the most important thing of all. Thank you very, very much. Have a good night.